Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Delusional Daydreams podcast. I am your host, Ari Lou. My parents are back. Whoop, whoop. So the first week that I was back in my hometown, back in my parents' house, divine timing, it actually worked out to where my parents were on vacation in New York City. And that really, I'm so grateful that it worked out that way because it gave me time to really just kind of settle in to the fact that I am in a whole new chapter of life with all new characters, all new environments. I mean, literally just wrapping my head around the processing part of everything. And to be honest, I was so fucking stoked that they were coming home. I was so excited to see them and be with them. A little bit nervous, obviously, right? I'm almost 28 years old, moving back in with my parents. And I have been on my own, in my own independence, living my own life with no rules, for quite some time at this point. So coming back here, I was definitely a little bit nervous. It's a little bit like walking on eggshells, if you will, because I want to be respectful of their space and the fact that they are helping me out during such a rock bottom part of my life. But yeah, my biggest fears are coming true. My biggest fears being that I am absolutely spot on when it comes to understanding how my parents, and right now specifically I'm talking about my father and my stepmom, I am spot motherfucking on when it comes to understanding how they think, what they think specifically of me, and what their perceptions are of me. And I knew that they probably weren't very good considering the last time that I lived back at home with them over 6 years ago. I was in a really intense period of my life. I was into really hardcore drugs, into really intense partying, really moving through this world out of wounded energy, not understanding who the fuck I am, just being tossed around, not having a fucking clue. And so I understand where that perception comes from. But the fact that it's over 6 years later and I've gone through so much more in my life and that is still their perception of me, that is so beyond disheartening. And I want to explain how I came to that conclusion and that understanding, because people are like, well, maybe you just don't get it. Maybe they're saying something wrong or they didn't mean it that way, or no. Let me explain myself. So the first week I was here and I was by myself, like I said, it really gave me the chance to just kind of process everything. And ultimately, the week that I was here, I feel like I've been going non-motherfucking stop. Like I have not stopped moving because I feel like I've taken such a backtrack in my life, and in the back of my mind, knowing that they have this underlying perception of me that isn't very good, I want to prove them wrong. Not only prove them wrong, but prove myself that I have changed. Prove to myself that I have changed and that I have up-leveled and that I am not the same person that I was over 6 years ago. So since I've been back, I've been unpacking all of my stuff, making my room as beautiful as possible, because my dad's number one rule, and the only rule, is make sure that my bathroom and my bedroom are clean at all times. Because I used to be a messy motherfucker. Honestly, I used to just throw shit. I used to have laundry all over the ground. I would hoard dishes and glasses, and it was just not a cute environment. I have changed significantly since then, especially considering the last 3.5 years I have been in a very committed relationship in a condo that we owned, that we remodeled ourselves, that I upkept. Like, I have adulted so much up to this point that I don't even think they realize it. But basically, yeah, I have been unpacking and making sure that everything fits. But in order to make sure that everything fits, I had to go through my closet and my drawers and all my childhood clothes and all this memorabilia stuff, clear that out. Then I had like all of these suitcases and all of these thrifted bags. I took all of my suitcases and camping stuff that would have just been a pile in the garage. I didn't want my parents to come home from New York City with just a mound of my shit in the garage that wasn't meant to be in my bedroom. So I took it over to my grandma's house, put it in her basement for storage. Then I took like 3 big bags of thrifted shit. I went and dropped it off at Goodwill, so that was out of the way. And then I ended up returning the rental car that my dad helped me with a day and a half early because I busted through the drive to get out here because it was so uncomfortable and I just wanted to go, 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 go. Like I said, I don't feel like I have time to stop and rest. I just need to keep moving. So I ended up getting here a day and a half early and I was like, Grandma, will you help me drop this off? Let's see if we can save my dad some money. I ended up saving him $300 on this rental, which is like literally almost half of what the entire rental cost. And then I also took time to go out into town to scope out what the job opportunities looked like, to scope out what the job market looked like. Then I ended up building a beautiful motherfucking resume, which took me a couple hours because I have not built myself a resume in probably 5 years. And at this point in time in 2023, if you look at resumes, man, resumes are different, way different than I was ever taught in college, taking college courses on how to build resumes. It's so different than what I was even learning when I was in school. So I took all this time to build this beautiful motherfucking resume. And then not only that, like getting myself situated here, keeping up with the dog, going on walks, like taking care of myself, making sure I'm stretching, doing my yoga, my meditation, my breath work, journaling, doing this podcast, because this content creation, being a philosopher, adding to the worldly conversation, this is my dream. This is my greatest desire. I have no idea what this is going to turn into, but I absolutely will not fucking stop. So I have been absolutely motherfucking busy day in and day out. And on top of that, when my parents came back Saturday night, I wanted to show them that, hey, and not even just show them, but I wanted to respect their space. I know what it's like having roommates, going on vacation. Before you leave for vacation, you do all this cleaning. You make sure the dishes are done, the kitchen is clean, all the spaces are clean, because when you come home from a vacation, it is so magical to come home to just a peaceful and clean and fresh space. But I also know what it feels like after you've done all that work, you've gone on your vacation, you have roommates, and you come home and there's dishes piled in the sink, the trash is overflowing. It's like the roommates gave absolutely no fucking consideration for the fact that you exist and that you like your environment tidy in any way, shape, or form. I know how frustrating that is. I've dealt with that before. And because I've been humbled into that experience, I didn't want to put that on my parents. So I did the dishes. I ran the dishwasher, put them away. I emptied the trash. I sifted through the recycling. I picked up all of Bandit's poop out in the backyard. I swept their patio because he loves to do circles in their fucking backyard. And he kicks up all this bark dust everywhere, and I wanted to make sure that it didn't look like I was just taking all this for granted and just fucking off. I wanted to be respectful. I also ended up doing all of my laundry, my sheets, and all of this stuff before they got home, and cleared out the laundry room to make sure that they had space to do their laundry when they come home, because I also know when you come back from vacation, the first thing you want to do is put laundry in the fucking washer because you have shit to clean. Anyways, I did all of this stuff, and to be honest, I operate like this now, and I have been operating like this in adult mode for quite some motherfucking time at this point, like years at this point. But have my parents witnessed that? No. So I was in a weird way expecting some kind of like, thank you, or wow, like you really have changed, or like, I really appreciate you. I wasn't expecting this, But no thank you, no notice, nothing, just, oh, we're back. okay, I'll just fuck off. Even when I went through and I listed, because they were asking me, like, how was my week? And it almost seemed like they were asking me to keep inventory on how productive I'm fucking being. So I went through and I listed everything that I just listed to you. And it was kind of just like like they expected that. They expected that level of productivity. They expected me to have that much of my shit together during the hardest time of my life and the hardest thing I've ever been through, which is just so fucking fascinating. But I didn't say anything. I didn't take it personally. I was just like, okay, like whatever. I feel good about it. So I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because I fucking showed up. Then it continues, okay? This is the very next morning. So they got in on Saturday. They got home at like 11 p.m. The very next morning, right? This whole story, everything I'm telling you, is taking place within the first 24 hours that they are back home and in my presence, okay? So the very next morning, we're having breakfast, first family breakfast I've had, and I literally have no fucking clue. I was very thankful. I was like, wow, Dad, thank you. Like, I'm like literally tearing up and crying because this is just, thank you. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. So we're sitting down having breakfast and I'm explaining to them how at this point I am officially 22 full days nicotine free. No cigarettes, no vaping. Woohoo! Not only that, I was also 7 full days off of weed and marijuana. For me, I mean, both of those are huge. The nicotine is the biggest one. If any of you have ever struggled with nicotine addiction or any kind of addiction, because I've struggled with multiple substance addictions, addiction is hard. Addiction is so overwhelming and so overcoming of your entire being and your entire soul, and it just makes you feel like you have absolutely no control over yourself or your life. But for the first time in my life, because I'm at this rock bottom point and because I'm realizing that it's up to me to change my situation, I am taking all of this so fucking seriously. I have been a smoker at this point for 7 years now. Nicotine, cigarettes, 7 years. Weed since high school, so it's been a little bit longer. But for me to be completely off of substances, not even drinking coffee, I've cut out caffeine too, guys. Holy shit, I'm doing so well. Anyways, I told them that. You want to know the first thing my stepmom said to me? How long do you think that's going to last this time? Excuse me? Excuse me? Did I react like that? Absolutely not. In my internal world, I did. I definitely held my cool and I was like kind of just jarred at first, but then I went on to humbly explaining how I am in the most humbled situation I've ever been in my entire life. And the most humbling part, on top of being stripped away of absolutely everything materialistically and externally, it's humbling for me to realize that where I'm at in my life is simply a direct reflection of every single choice and decision I have made up to this point. So it's not like I can blame it on anybody else but myself. And now I'm at a point in my life where I need to start taking control and start taking accountability and responsibility for where I'm at. And if I want to change my situation, it is up to me to do it. So I don't want to do it any longer. I think this is going to last forever, Angela. But do you know how disheartening and dis-motherfucking respectful it is to go up to someone who is trying their damnedest, especially trying to quit an addiction, and they're making progress, and then to just hear this backlash of like, how long is it going to last this time? Like, it's inevitable that you're going to just go back to your old ways, right? Like, when you hear that, when you're struggling, when you hear that the people that are closest to you, the people that their opinions matter the most to you, when you hear that their opinions of you is nothing but scum on the bottom of someone's shoe, it gives you no hope. And if anything, when I heard that, it made me want a cigarette that much more. But I'm not fucking stooping down to that level. But it's just like, dude, like, first off, you have no right to talk on addiction at all because you've never experienced it. I hate hearing people talk about addiction and how to quit and, oh, you just need to think about this and you just need to try doing this when they've never fucking experienced it in the first place. If you've never experienced it, shut the fuck up. You don't have a right to talk about it because you have no perspective on it. If anything, you think you have a perspective on it, and the universe will gladly humble you into a grand perspective if you really need it. Okay? But that was just absolutely not the energy I needed, especially in this fucking transition that I'm in. I know that I am in a shit situation. You don't think I know my situation better than anyone else? I am very fucking aware of my situation. Thank you very much. Thank you for stating it out loud. Yeah, I'm at this point where it's like, okay, all I can do is not only show up for myself and make better decisions and choices for myself, but it's also been such a big fucking test of patience because I am such an emotional person. And I hate saying that, but it's true. I feel so fucking deeply. And a lot of times it goes like this. And for me, learning how to handle my emotions, move through my emotions, and find stability within my emotions is very difficult because I just want to fucking lash out. After Angela said that, I literally just wanted to take my meal, throw it in the trash, put my dishes in the dishwasher, head upstairs. That's what I wanted to do so bad. I didn't want to make a, big dramatic scene, but I wanted to just fucking leave. Did I? No. I sat there, took a deep breath, and humbled myself back to trying to understand and remembering why they view me the way they view me. Because last time I lived here, you're right. That's how I was. And do you know how many times I've tried to quit nicotine? Anybody that's been a smoker, I'm sure, has gone through that process time and time and time and motherfucking time again. Now, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but sometimes it does take a certain situation, a certain rock bottom, a certain click in perspective that you never had before, a certain change of environment, a certain change of people that surround you, being intentional about where you're going, because now, I'm not surrounded or I'm not hanging around someone that's also trying to fight the same addiction. I'm surrounded by people that have never faced addiction, which even though they don't understand what I'm going through, it's definitely helping me on my sobriety journey because I'm not surrounded by it. It's not even a topic of conversation. It's not even something that's like flooding into the awareness, which is so refreshing. And I was trying to explain to them too that because I am focusing so heavily on my sobriety, especially coming back to my hometown, because my hometown is where the drugs started for me. So I was very nervous to come back to the place where I struggled and this was the initiation of that struggle. It's been a very kind of like sticky internal situation for me to be back here considering. And so I'm explaining to them, hey, like a part of my intention is when I go out into the workforce, I could so easily go and get a bartending gig, go and get a server gig and make so much money. But I have been in the restaurant industry time and time again. And every motherfucking time I get into the service industry, specifically the restaurant industry, and I can't blame those people, but the restaurant industry is motherfucking toxic. Not only with drugs, weed, cocaine, nicotine, but also alcohol. And then you're serving alcohol and you're around drunks all the motherfucking time. And it is such a fucking stressful job. It's such a high stress environment that I don't blame them that they need to hit their vapes in the bathroom, that they need to go out and take a 5-minute smoke break, because working in the restaurant industry is chaotic. Holy fuck. And I know that. And I refuse to put myself in that situation and in that environment again if I know there is any slight chance or possibility that in moments of weakness, I could turn onto substance abuse, because that is what is surrounding me. I will not do that, which means because I am choosing not to do that and instead go more towards baristaing. I know that's still in the service industry, but I love baristaing. I love making coffee. I love the gourmet coffee industry, the specialty coffee industry. I thrive in that. I love serving people their first cup of morning joe and being that first interaction of the day and having the opportunity to truly help set up someone's morning to be absolutely epic, because how your mornings go is how your days flow. So if I can be a part of this grand chain reaction of just epicness and happiness and love and good quality epicness, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that impact. Also, I prefer working early mornings to late nights. But I was explaining, it's like I will be sacrificing the amount of money that I'll be bringing in through an external job because I am prioritizing my health and my well-being and my sobriety at this point in my life. And they were so proud of that. I was actually surprised. I was like, thank God they're so proud of this. But they were so proud. And they were like, you know what? Would they be mistakes if you don't learn from them? And I'm like, exactly. I'm glad you get it. I'm trying to learn from my past mistakes and not have repeated cycles and patterns. Because people can change. I hate when people say that, no, people stay the same. You're wired. That's just how you are. No. Yes, you are programmed a certain way. And if you are not awake to your programming, you will stay the same. Abso-fucking-lutely. But if you wake up to your habits, repeated cycles, and what shit you're living in, and most likely it's because of the decisions and the choices that you're making within your life subconsciously without even realizing that you have control to make better choices, people can change. And I am here to show my family who doesn't believe in that they can. But I'm glad that they did notice, okay, yeah, learn from your mistakes. And I told them another one of my mistakes that I'm learning from, especially from my last relationship, is I will never put myself in this position again, where when I am in a relationship, I give my 100,000%. I give everything away, physically, emotionally, and mentally, to the point where I leave myself with absolutely nothing. I learned my lesson. Priority number 1 is me, myself, and I. And that's how it always should be. Because at the end of the day, you're born alone and you die alone. I am my own vessel. I need to take care of myself. Now, that doesn't mean in a partnership I'm not going to support and be there and we can grow together. But I also need to maintain my authenticity and my individuality and my oneness as well. Learned my lesson. And again, they were very proud of that. And I was like, see? See, guys? I'm not such a piece of shit after all. The day then continues, and before breakfast ends, my dad's like, hey, later tonight we want to have an adult conversation with you. And I was like, okay. So I pull out my speaker and I'm like, Ari Lou, please head to the principal's office. And then they just bust up laughing. And I was like, that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like I'm about to be sent to the principal's office right now. I thought my situation was already damning enough. Let's go ahead and make it worse. What conversation do you want to have? And if you're going to bring it up, don't put it off till later. Bring it up and bring it up now. Because then I'm going to be mustering over this all fucking day. Anyways, they're like, oh no, don't worry about it. We just want to sit down and talk about your goals and what your expectations are with living here. And I was like, okay, I completely understand. And I explained to them how I understand where their perception of me is coming from and why they might be weary. And all I can do is, let my actions speak for themselves and shut my mouth and work in silence. They were like, okay. So later that evening, yesterday, still again, it hasn't even been 24 hours since I've been in their presence. My dad sits me down and he's like, okay, the adult conversation is, I'm very proud to see that, okay, you not only built a resume, and I built this beautiful resume. I had both of them look at it because my stepmom is a business owner who is constantly looking at resumes to hire people. So I wanted her opinion. Since she's someone that looks at fucking resumes, she looked at it and she was like, wow, that's a great resume. You have amazing experience. If they don't call you back, I'm going to be super surprised. And I was like, fuck yeah. And then I go and show it to my dad because he's also a business owner, but it's just him and his brother that own the business. So it's not like he looks at resumes, but I wanted to show him because he is a business professional. And they were both very impressed. Yeah, I did that. And then I also, yesterday, I spent about 3 hours applying to 3 different online jobs, but then also mustering through the list of different coffee shops that I'm going to go and hand in a physical resume in person today because they don't have online applications. So I really got all my shit in a row. I mean, I'm making moves. And my dad was like, you unpacked everything, your room is clean, you have a resume, you're applying for jobs, that's everything that I want to see. And what's going to happen next is once you've been here for a couple months, maybe 2 or 3 months, we're going to start charging you rent. I'm sorry, can you say that again? Yeah, we just think that to inspire you to get back out into the real world, we're going to start charging you rent. Once you get on your feet in like 2 to 3 months. Okay. And I was like, can I ask how much you're looking to charge me? He's like, oh, it's not going to be very expensive. It's going to be very cheap. It's going to be very cheap. And I was like, okay, but like, what number are you thinking of? So I can mentally prepare, because if I'm going to be charged, I would like to know what I'm going to be charged. And he's like, oh, I haven't thought about it yet. We'll let you know. And this might make me sound like a spoiled brat even bringing this up because, oh no, my parents want to charge me rent. But it's like, this is such a different motherfucking situation. It's not like I'm just here, I've got a car, I've got a job set up, I've got savings, but life is really expensive and, it just makes more sense to live at home during these weird times. So of course I want to contribute and, pay my dues, but I am here not out of choice. I am here out of pure desperation. Out of me ending a 3.5-year relationship, having no car, no job, no money, just me, my dog, and a few pieces of clothing. And me coming here, I know I need a job. But then you also have to think, my first priority right now is transportation, and my parents know that. I need to save up money to buy a car. And the only form of help they're willing to do in that aspect is co-signing on a used car from a dealership. And let me tell you this right now, I absolutely will not be doing that to myself, because why? Tell me why it makes any motherfucking sense for me to go to a used car dealership and put myself in $25,000 to $35,000 worth of debt by the end of it, with interest and all that bullshit, right? Why would I do that to myself for a used liability asset that's going to depreciate in value the moment I drive it off the lot? When, in alternative, I could save bulk a third of that, maybe like $5,000 to $10,000, buy direct a used car, and then have the same fucking thing for a third of the price. Can someone motherfucking explain that to me? So I told that to my dad. I was like, I will not be signing for a used car because that financially doesn't make any sense. And he was like, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. So you better find a job that is either in walking distance or you can take the bus. And I was like, yeah, you're right. That's what I'm doing. But if you look at how much money I'm truly going to be making, because I estimated all of it and I calculated all of it. I showed him the numbers. I was like, this is how much, if I work full time, this is how much I'm going to be making. This is how long it's going to take me with those numbers, with those perfect numbers. This is how long it's going to take me just to save up enough money to buy a cheap, bare bones used vehicle. Right? So I'm thinking about transportation. I'm thinking about health insurance. I'm thinking about the fact that I'm trying to get the fuck out of here so that I can live on my own and support myself. But then I'm also thinking about, oh my God, I need to get a vet appointment scheduled for Bandit because I need to get his teeth cleaned because it's been too long because of my last relationship. I was trying to get that done for the last year and my partner just kept putting it off. And now that it's just me and my dog, I have to be the one to do it. And I also have to get him a vet appointment because he has undiagnosed skin allergies that I need to get diagnosed, figured out, pay for that. And then I also need to get him his monthly medication for whatever they're going to do for that. So it's like I've got all these things. Oh, and on top of that, I got my credit cards. And it's not like I have like a fuck ton of credit card debt, but I do have some stuff I do need to pay off. And it's like, okay, Dad, I am very motherfucking aware of my situation. And to be honest, I'm drowning. And you're going to sit here and tell me that in 2 to 3 months, you're going to start charging me rent to not only inspire me to move on and get out of the house, but to also feel like I'm contributing. Dad, what the fuck am I contributing to? Am I contributing to your thriving financials and your already accumulated wealth? Because I'm sorry, you guys are both business owners. You guys are both thriving. Your house is almost paid off. You guys have 2 fucking beautiful cars. You have a brand new 2023 $90,000 SUV sitting in the garage downstairs. Dad, you're driving a fucking 6-year-old top of the line BMW that costs over $70,000. Don't tell me. And you just got back from a vacation to New York. You're going on vacation to Mexico in February, and you're about to start planning a vacation to Italy. Do not tell me that I need to contribute shit. And that might sound a little bit harsh, but when I am at rock motherfucking bottom and I am living within my own universal lesson right now, like the biggest lesson I could be living in right now, you have the audacity to try to teach me another lesson about responsibility and contribution on top of that? Did you forget that every single thing you have in your life is because of nepotism? Oh my God, did I forget to mention that? My father was handed business ownership with his brother because my grandparents started a business, took them in, gave them a salary, gave them benefits, gave them yearly commission and bonuses, and then handed them ownership. Do you want to know the funniest thing about that? When I was going through all my job stuff, I casually mentioned to my stepmother, Angela, because she's a business owner of a plant company, and I actually have been growing really fond of plant care. I love plants, and I've kind of considered, like, Angela, do you need a plant tech? Like, are you hiring this low-level position? Like, do you need people? Because honestly, if I'm not getting calls back, I would be very open to working for you, at least until I get something better. And you know what she said? Oh, no. No, I would never put you through that. And I was like, what are you talking about? I love plants. She's like, no, it's not just that. It's the employee drama. There's so much employee drama. It's just, I'm not going to put you into that. It's a no. Okay. And then she also goes on to say, and also you should be getting a job where you're close enough to commute by public transportation if you need to. And I was like, Angela, if we worked at the same place, I could literally just hitch a ride with you. Right? You're the business owner. I can hitch a ride with you to the job. So it's weird. It's like, okay, I understand when I was in desperate times, which I still am, and I called my dad and I needed help and he got me the rental car to get out here. It's like, now that I'm here,
with no other fucking option. I'm trying to open up my awareness and my brain to, okay, what can flood in? What can I do right now? What other options do I have? But I thought I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, but the universe just seems to keep slipping me further down in between a crack, further and further and further. And I feel a little bit hopeless at this point, because it's like, this help that you are trying to offer me truly does seem backhanded. It seems so transactional, and it's showing me that love within this family truly is conditional. And something that I am learning is that those who help people in need only under compliance with certain conditions aren't doing it to do a good deed out of the kindness of their heart. No. They're simply putting themselves in a position to exert their power over the powerless. I think that's all we got today, folks. A little bit spicy, but real and raw. That's all I'm going to handle from here on out. Life has been getting juicy for me. At this point, I need my own reality TV show. This is fucking nuts. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me just ramble and scream into this microphone. I really appreciate it. I hope if you're going through something similar with your own parents or external people having power struggles over you, just realize that by you distancing yourself, pulling yourself away, you are empowering yourself. And one day it will all make sense. One day it will all be worth it. Until next time, Ari Lou signing out. Peace punch, Captain Crunches.